I'm talking today with Roanoke County Police Chief Howard Hall and Nancy Hands with the Roanoke County Prevention Council. Nancy, start out talking about edibles. Describe what edibles are.
So edibles are basically food, candy, you eat it. And here we have some actual samples. So this is an edible, but so is this. And these are two different things because one is truly Sour Patch candy and the other one has what we are finding out is Delta 8 THC and other chemicals are in this. And we're very, very concerned about the look-alike and the marketing and who these are being sold to.
And then to go on to that, Chief, talk a little bit about Delta 8. What is that? We're talking about marijuana edibles. I should have clarified that in the beginning, but talk about the Delta 8.
So Delta 8 is a form of THC, which is the psychoactive ingredient in marijuana, or the ingredient that causes people to become impaired. However, Delta 8 is different in that it is derived from the hemp plant and CBD, which are legal products. A number of years ago, hemp and hemp products were legalized federally and locally and are commercially produced at this point in a number of areas. What has happened is the Delta 8 is now being derived from those legal hemp products. The Delta 8, however, has the psychoactive properties. It will cause impairment. It can make people sick. Maybe not to the same level as Delta 9 THC, which is the active ingredient in most of the marijuana that people are familiar with. But in enough quantity, and in edibles, you do tend to see a pretty high concentration. The Delta 8 can cause impairment and has been making people sick.
Right. Okay. Very, very dangerous. And talk about how dangerous they can be. I believe, Nancy, you said earlier, you've actually heard a couple of stories here in the Roanoke Valley about some instances where children were impacted by it.
Yes, so we know that there have been children that have ended up in the emergency department as young as 2.5 and looked like it was actually Apple Jacks, looked like Apple Jacks, looked like the same packaging. Luckily, that little girl has come through this, but it was incredibly dangerous. Her parents were very, very concerned and did not know what had happened. So we are extremely concerned that the packaging is what is literally being marketed as things that would be marketed towards children. And we really want parents to be very, very vigilant and understand what's out there.
And these are things that have actually been found at some local convenience stores, correct? These products that you've laid out here are the actual ones purchased, correct?
Actually, they are. And here's another sort of example of, this is the one with THC, and this is the cereal, so you can see how much they look alike.
It's very troubling, indeed. I'm sure for both of you, it's very troubling. And are we seeing in our school systems, or maybe some statistics you might have of what we're seeing around children and how it's impacting them?
So we've been able to work with our schools to get the information out to the principals, the nurses, so that they see this. We have not seen anything being used in the schools. We just know that this is out there to easy access because it is not regulated and it is legal. So when it's not regulated, basically even the convenience stores don't have to card someone, which that is extremely concerning because then they're just allowing anybody to come in and purchase this even if they're not 21 years old.
Right. So that would be troubling for you. For officers, it's not illegal, but certainly if someone were to get a hold of it and then become impaired and get behind the wheel and drive, that could be a lot of concern.
Right, someone who is driving would still be guilty of the crime of driving while impaired or under the influence because it is a psychoactive product.
Right.
Much like any other, say, legal prescription drug that somebody might be under the influence of. You can't drive under the influence. But in terms of the actual possession or purchase, as Nancy suggests, these are unregulated legal products that are available for sale because they're derived from the hemp plant
Right.
as opposed to the regular marijuana plant. They fall under a completely different set of laws. But people should also be aware that there's no quality control or regulation on what's in these things. So the packages are marked with 500 milligrams of THC. So that's what the package says. There's no independent verification of what actually is in this.
So what is the message to send to parents?
So it's really simple. You need to be very vigilant. You need to look at the packages, and as we approach any holidays, there's Halloween, there's the holidays, Christmas, there's Valentine's, there's Easter, any of this will change. We will have different packages. There will be different edibles. It won't just be these.
Yeah, as Nancy says, this is really just the beginning. This is Delta 8, which is an unregulated legal product. So we're really taking a close look, at this packaging that, if you just glance at this, both of these look pretty much the same and look pretty legitimate. On this one, you have to go to the back to see the sticker that says it has THC. This one looks just like a Rice Krispie treat. If you just glance at it, you really have to look for this symbol that says it's got 500 milligrams of THC. And that, it takes a little bit of effort to do, but it's going to be really important for parents to pay attention in order to protect their children.
Right. Well, this is great information to share. Education is certainly important. So thank you all for sharing this information. And if anyone's interested in learning more, can they reach out to the Prevention Council of Roanoke County?
And we have our website, Facebook page, but certainly they can contact us and we can give them answers, more information, direct them where there are more resources around this.